All right, here we are. Cade Reynolds, head basketball coach, East Liverpool. Jimmy Joe Savage, the legend behind the lens. We did this for one reason, Digger. And it's going to be the bridge. My generation, his generation. No matter how old, if you're from East Liverpool, Pottertown, everyone has a Digger story. So, Cade, begin. Take all the time you need. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my relationship with, Frank started when I was probably in eighth grade. He was always around the football program. I was a ball boy for the varsity team, so I got to see him there. And then he has the date memorized. He wrote it in a book that he gave me. But our actual relationship started sometime in October, my freshman year, where he was actually calling a game down in Weirton, and I had an interception, ran it back for a touchdown. It was my first varsity touchdown, and he talked about it every single time I saw him. So from then on, from camping at his house with the football team to, graduating, him showing up at my graduation party, surprising me. And then after I graduated, a couple years ago, he had asked me to help him out working at the Lou Holtz Hall of Fame. And I worked with him on and off for about a year and a half to 2 years, and we really, really developed a personal friendship, outside of me being a student in high school. And man, some of those times right there in the basement of the Hall of Fame, going through old football pictures, old basketball programs that he had, just the history, the stories, that's the relationship that I hold on to the most.
We got much more from him. But this is the guy that has really stood shoulder to shoulder with Digger for decades. I mean, late 90s to be exact. When I was getting ready to exit stage left, Jimmy Joe came in and basically helped Digger, as he aged, as we all do, slow down a little bit, keep the ball rolling forward. Not just for Potter football, but the Hall of Fame, the alumni, and he's got it all in pictures, as you can see. So talk to me about Digger. You've got lots of stuff to tell us, so go right ahead.
Well, Digger was different. Digger was not someone you would say no to. I mean, let me rephrase that. You will say no. You will say no repeatedly. And you still end up doing it. So you might as well just say, okay.
See, I never had the courage to tell him that. You're a bigger man than me.
No, there's several stories that I look back over the almost 30 years that we did things. And there were a lot of things that Digger showed me in a roundabout way. Okay, you understand what I mean when I say that.
Jump in here, man.
I mean, like the first time I met Digger was 1997 or 98. I was coming out of a Hall of Fame meeting, and I grew up with his daughters, Cece and Belinda, and he said, "Can we do something for Potter football?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I'm working with the school on this new thing. It's called a website." And, nobody knew what it was then. And we ended up working on it, and that was the start of Potter football, which rolled into Potter Sports Online, which went from 98 to roughly 2017.
Yeah, so I had it all 4 years when I was in school, and I graduated in 15. So.
And I started to take pictures, and it's just I laugh about that because there were certain things that happened during those times that, like I said, Digger's hard to say no to. And I've been lucky in the Midwest with that friendship, camaraderie, whatever you want to call it, with him, because
it was love.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was love.
But without him, he made the statement when we started. He goes, "Your life's going to change."
Sure.
and I kind of looked at it because I never thought that it would do what it did. And has it changed? Well, I don't know. I went from a school bus mechanic and a wrestling coach to a photographer, and nobody ever knew I was a wrestling coach or a school bus mechanic.
Right.
Listen, I'm going to talk to Kate about you for a second because you won't let me do it. But what he has done with this landscape of photographs, every nook and cranny of Pottertown, blue and white, it's like Digger's going to still be with us. Sadly, he isn't. But I think Digger knew who was the right person for the future, right?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, I think Jimmy Joe's humble in his own way, but I think one of the biggest things that he takes from Digger is that humble
Absolutely.
side. Is you would never hear Frank talk about himself. You would never hear him toot his own horn or, say all the things that he's done. And Jimmy Joe's the same way. I mean, this guy has pictures of me from the time I was in 4th grade to the time I graduated to now that I'm coaching. He's never missed an event that I've been involved in, I would say. Anytime we need him.
Wait a minute. I missed his first game this year because I was like, I got something going on. And then you pull off the win.
And then we pull off the win.
Come on, your first win. You wouldn't have showed me up, wouldn't you?
We had to get it done. I had to get it done while you weren't there. But, I mean, I don't know that sometimes he realizes the impact that he had on the kids as far as Jimmy Joe when it comes to pictures. I mean, I remember every single Saturday night or Saturday morning after a football game, the first thing we all did at film session was log into Potter Sports Online and look at the pictures from the Friday night before. After every basketball game, you're checking Potter Sports Online for the pictures that he took. There's just so many memories of seniors' last games, of homecoming games, of teams, games with teammates that we have lost now, that you didn't even realize how important they were. But, without the guy behind the lens, we don't have those. We don't have those photos. So I definitely think when it comes to taking pictures and, like you said, kind of passing that torch, Digger knew what he was doing, and he definitely found the person to carry that legacy as far as Potter football and pictures go for a long time. I hope for a long time.
Well,
I hope Jimmy Joe's around for a long time.
That was never the intention.
All right, so I got one. I've been doing this so much in recent days, even on the radio, so I'm going to give these guys most of the airtime. But I was thinking coming down here, we had to do a football game in East Canton one time, and there was like a foot of snow on the ground. The only place in the press box they had for us was on the roof. Crow's nest, trap door opened up. And as we're climbing up, and Smokey, Jerry Stovall, goes through, I go through, we're, stringing the wires, and Digger's with us. And I'm like, come on, Digger, let's go. And he's like very gingerly going up this little ladder, one step at a time, taking forever. I'm like, come on, let's go. I get him up there. He's literally on his hands and knees. He never told me in all the years I knew him he was afraid of heights. He's dressed immaculate. But somehow, because it was a Potter football game, he got upright, and he stood next to me the entire time. As that wind was blowing so hard, the snow's coming down, it's freezing cold, but he did it because of the Potters. Listen, I know you're a basketball coach and a good one, and obviously East Liverpool's got great basketball tradition, but Digger's first love was always football, right? Why?
That goes back to, I think, when he played or didn't play, and he was the manager. He was the trainer, whatever you want to call him back then.
He created this training cart that was so far ahead of its time. He carried the tape and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's still, you can still see it at the Lou Holtz Hall of Fame. It's down in the basement right outside of the film room. To some people, if you just look at it now, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's your standard training cart. That's what all trainers have. But you don't realize that it was built 60 years ago, 70 years ago. The fact that he was so far ahead of his time, I mean, he always had the tape, the sissy wrap, everything that a football team would need from a trainer. It just showed his dedication, I think, to the sport and to Potter football, that he wanted to make sure that those guys were always taken care of, even way back then.
So when I was at the hospital the other day sitting with his family, we talked about how he would be up till 2, 3 in the morning writing, gathering. He was so meticulous with his penmanship, and he and Roberta made such an incredible team. They were like an assembly line. I don't think people realize. I mean, he never missed my birthday. I mean, he sent me a card every year. I'm 68 years old. I've known him since I was like in my early 20s.
Whoa. You're only a few years older than me?
That's it, man.
Hey, some of them aged well and some didn't. No, I'm sorry, I had to go on that.
Listen, I'm a little rough around the edges because I've been coming to East Liverpool for 40 years. I should be home sleeping. But, God, I tell you, I'm going to miss this guy so much. I texted Belinda the other night because it really kind of settled in. And look, I lost my dad when he was only 73. Digger lived an incredible life, 90 years of age. I mean, would have been 91 Labor Day weekend. But there's such an emptiness. I mean, just a void. Because when you just needed that little bump, the phone rang. You know what I mean, Kate? He was just there, whether he knew something was going on or not. Whenever you needed a dose of Digger, he was there.
Yeah. I mean, just like you said, as far as like the cards, the birthday cards. I took my wife out, Gretchen, and Digger invited us out for dinner at the farm. We went out. He showed us the whole entire house, everything he had. He loved it. Obviously, was proud of it, which he should have been. It's like the next day, we get 2 cards in the mail with pictures they took that night. Like, I'm not even sure how he got it in the mail in time to get to my house. But it's just, it's the small things like that that he would do that you always knew that he cared. Your friends tell you, your friends care about you, but he showed it. Like, you had no question about the fact that if he cared about you, you knew it, And those are the little things that I hope people can take and carry that legacy on, is if someone needs it or lend a helping hand, like, take care of each other, because that's what he did the best.
Why do we love Liverpool? You guys grew up here. But listen, I should have turned the page years ago, but every time I try to get out, I keep coming back. Why is it that we just love this town so much? And I think a lot of it has to do with because of the ambassador that Digger was.
There's a lot of people like Digger. There's only one Digger, don't get me wrong. But depending on what you do and what you're involved in, there are people that will pull you into, whether it be the basketball, whether it be the sports, whether it be the academics, whether it be the city. It doesn't matter what you're involved in. You pick and choose how deeply you get involved. And if you're involved with someone like Frank, and you're willing to do, you don't get out. And it's not that you mind.
Right.
Well, let me just tell you a couple of things that may be letting something out of the bag, but what the heck? What are they going to do to me? I'm 68, right? Here's the thing. I get a call here about a month ago. You may not even know about this. Somebody that owns a radio station somewhere else, not too far from here, where I actually did some sporting events, and they sent into the league an all-pro wide receiver. We'll leave it at that. You figure it out. He says to me, hey, look, can I get any memorabilia from that radio station that used to be there that you did so many years of play-by-play? And I said, I really don't have anything. He said, well, we got this group together. We're thinking of adding that station to our group. And would you be interested in coming back? And have you heard this? Okay. And I'm like, no, I don't think so, but there's a lot of talented people down there. But I'm going to say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It was like somebody sticking a dagger in my heart. And I had no skin in the game. But when that radio station left town and stopped doing the games, not to say that the YSN network or whatever does a great job, but there was something about those games on the radio, and to have Digger with me in the booth, or every once in a while at a different event, or at the Family Center doing something, it was magical, and I really hope somehow, some way, and we've talked about this, if that could come back, that would do such a positive thing for this community, would it not, Kay?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's if you've never listened to a game on the radio, or instead of just sitting in front of a TV and watching it, it's a totally different atmosphere. You have to use your imagination. You have to rely on them broadcasters to really paint that picture for you. And it's totally a talent. And I mean, the fact that you guys did it for so long shows how good that you were at it. And it is truly amazing how long that it went. And if it was to come back, I think the Potter faithful would really enjoy it.
Well, and because of the rivalries, even though you get East Liverpool every Friday or Tuesday or Friday or whatever in the way of basketball, we did wrestling, we did baseball, we did volleyball, we did everything. But the great thing of it is, because of these rivalries, those fans of Beaver Local, Oak Glen, Wellsville, they get a chance to hear their teams on a regular basis. Plus, we did these nightly coaches shows, which were must-listen-to radio. I mean, it's community. And Digger made you feel such a part of it. And the Bill Booth Award winner and the banquet. We actually used to broadcast football banquets with Digger, the entire thing from the high school. I mean, the Lou Holtz thing, having an opportunity to be on the dais there. I mean, I don't think anybody understands, because it's been a while since Digger really was all in. He was all in, but you should have seen him full throttle when he was in his 40s and 50s and 60s. Honestly, I don't know how anybody, especially my dear friend, the late Roberta, kept up with this guy. I mean, it was like 2 to 4, 7 to 9. He would handle his business at the funeral home, those viewings. But other than that, it was full throttle promoting this community.
Let me say two little stories. One of them is about Roberta.
Oh,
And
love it.
I love Roberta. God bless her. I would not be doing what I'm doing without what she'd said to me. Like I said, we started the Potter football in '97, and I'm a bus mechanic. I come in there one day and I'm still dirty, and I walk in, and she looks up, and I didn't know her that well then, and I said, "Do you think anybody will look? Do you think it's worth even doing?" And her very smooth comment in Roberta's form was, "Well, if you do it, they will. If you don't, they won't." And it was like, well, that's pretty plain and Jane as you're going to get.
Yeah.
Oh.
Pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Hey, listen, a couple more things about Digger, and then we're going to wrap it up here. But we're going to miss him, but our lives are so much better and richer because of the time we spent with him.
Yes.
The late, great Jerry Stovall, who was my partner forever, he and I were the Wild Bunch, and we would always do our pregame usually at the Corner Grill or down there at Casa, and I'd always say, lots of gum, don't ever tell Digger. Don't ever be telling Digger what we're doing, because he'd always threaten me. I'm going to tell Digger we were drinking down at the VFW before the game. I'm like, don't tell Digger. So I'll never forget, Digger wanted to go to this game with us at St. John Arena in Steubenville. And I said, let me see what time we're leaving. As I'm walking away, Digger said, oh, whatever time you guys are done at the Corner Grill, just let me know and I'll be waiting for you. So he always knew what was going on. And the funniest line of all time, and God rest his soul, because Jerry's gone too, Smokey, who smoked cigars, always had this chronic cough. I mean, this just chronic cough. So we're driving one day right by Riverview Cemetery, and Smokey's hacking up a storm. And Digger says, Smokey, you better do something about that cough. And Smokey, without missing a beat, went, Digger, there's a lot of people in Riverview Cemetery who'd love to have this cough right now. Oh, great memories. I'm going to miss you, Digger, and I'm going to give these guys a chance to wrap up. You did more for me in my career than anyone. You've been a mentor. You were always there when I needed you, and whenever I kind of got off in the wrong direction, you helped me get back on track. I will love you the rest of my time on this earth, but can you imagine? He gets to the gates, and the first thing he says, hey, Roberta, we got some work to do. All right.
I can see it.
Go ahead, Digger. Wrap it up.
So, one thing was, Digger was always part of football.
Loved it.
And this would have been early 2000s. And I learned a couple lessons. When the people that are very influential in town have your number, that's a good thing, because you can reach them.
Mm-hmm.
The downside to it is, if you don't think about it, they can reach you at any time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in on a Friday night, I get up at 5 for work, and I get these pictures edited, I'm putting them up online. Digger calls. It's 12 o'clock. Hey, you still up? Sure, Digger. Says, I want to send you the email. I want to email you the game write-up because he just got internet out the farm. Okay. How do I do it? So I'm explaining to him as I'm walking down the hallway how he has to email me the article.
Right.
And for most of the people who won't remember this, Cade might not remember this, but the dial-up connections back in the day were not the best.
AOL.
And you would hear in the background when he hit send that, and I'm going, oh no. And it took 5 times for it to connect. And he said, okay, I sent it. You get it? No, not yet, Digger. So I finally got it. I said, I got it. He goes, well, I can't read it yet. And I said, Digger, I got to put it, format it for it. So I finally get up, long story, get up, it's ready to go. And I'm telling him, hit reload, so it'll show up. He says, isn't this great? I said, yes, Digger, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm glad somebody can read the game right up.
But you never were not there for him. So that's something you should be very proud of. Before you give your final thoughts, what was it? Because this place, Dyke Beatty, of course, his father-in-law had been on the penalty flag, YSU, the barn turned into the house, been to the farm, loved the farm. And when you said about going to camp there, I remember Digger saying, we got the guys out for camp. What was camp like at the farm?
Oh, I mean, it was camp. It wasn't in the house. It wasn't, in a camper. It was, every kid brought a tent, and multiple, football players camped in the tent right on Beaver Creek. Actually, I got lucky enough my senior year. It rained probably 3 inches overnight, and
So you were intense.
oh, we were intense, yeah. And he would get up the next morning. We'd make breakfast. We'd cook over the fire. He'd, tell us Potter football stories. We'd swim in the pond. I mean, it's memories that kids will have for the rest of their lives. And it was cool. I mean, as far as I know, he hosted that forever. I mean, it's always been something that him and Gretchen have done. And when it rained, I know a couple kids snuck into their basement, and Gretchen had no problem with it. And it's truly just a testament to what Potter football and what the kids meant to them. And like I told Belinda last time I saw her, is anytime anyone says they're proud of you, you're like, it makes you feel good. It's great. But when Frank Dawson said that he was proud of you, you knew you were doing something right. And that carried more weight than a lot of other people's proud of you. If he believed in you, it really carried some weight, and it meant a lot. And those are just the things that I'll carry with me forever, is the fact that to have that relationship and to hear him say, like, you're on the right path, you got it. That's big time. It's going to take a lot of us to carry the torch that he carried by himself for so long, because I don't think one person can carry it by themselves like he did. I mean, he carried this city on his back.
But like you said, it's going to take a lot. Mm-hmm. But how many people had the connections that he had in his Rolodex? Right. That is going to be what people have to learn to share. Mm-hmm. How you and I do. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be the same, but we can't let it fade away. Yeah, he's definitely got pillars in everything. I mean, in pictures, he's got in basketball, in football, and wrestling. He's touched so many people, because his focus, even though he loved Potter football, wasn't just in Potter football. Yeah. He laid that foundation across the city as a whole, to where we are able to, carry that legacy across the whole city and the community, and it's not just going to fade away with just Potter football. I think it's gonna last a very, very long time. For sure.
I only met one other person in my lifetime who was as connected to this town and its history. Mary Tambolini, another one who's passed away. Just pillars of the community. Digger, as I said the other day, always used to, when I would call him, say, hello, sports fans. But every time he would say goodbye, speaking of humble, he'd say, stay humble so you don't stumble. And then the last thing he always said was, and I think all of us will definitely carry this mantra the rest of our life, blue and white forever. Mm-hmm. It was an honor to know you, Digger. Rest well until we meet again. We're going to keep it going for you. All right. Sunday, the Pottery Festival. Tell everybody what's going on.
They're doing Pottery Festival is going to be doing a tribute or a memorial of what he has done and what he's meant to at least the Pottery Festival in the city. I believe it's at 1 o'clock.
It sounds probably about right. It's the same time as today.
And it's going to be on the main stage. Does that sound right, Kate?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I would assume the main stage and the clock tower, one of those two, but I'd assume anywhere between 1 o'clock and 1:30.
Listen, I used to call it doorknob toss back in the day. I loved that pottery festival. That was like rock star stuff back in the day. Still is pretty cool, but man, when I was here in the 80s, that was like the spectacle.
When you saw the people that work there do at those events, what they do for work every day, you had to have a whole new respect for them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they take a 6 foot long, like a 1x6, put plates on it, put one hand in the middle, and go.
Right.
And not drop a thing.
Right.
Incredible. Be proud of your town. It's my home away from home, but for those of you who were born and raised here like these gentlemen, man, you should be just thanking every day, hitting your knees, because there's no place better than Pottertown, and there was nobody better than Frank. I never knew his middle name was Clark. Did you know that? I just found that out. You learned something new. Frank Clark Dawson. By the way, how's this basketball team? I know it's early, but tell me a little bit.
Young. We're going to be young for sure, but exciting. The kids are very eager to learn. We had a really good summer, obviously bouncing kids back and forth between football and basketball. But we're going to be young. There's going to be a lot of new faces in the Potter basketball program, which is good. It's kind of a rebuild year for us. The kids that that just left, that just exited, they laid a really good foundation for these young bucks. But having one senior, there are going to be some growing pains. I think everyone should expect that. But the goal is just to get 1% better every day. Rome wasn't built in a night, so we got to build on it every single day.
Tommy Contenta, a head assistant at Geneva College, loves this place. But the head coach, Gino DeMarco, loved Digger because of the Baldwin-Wallace connection.
Mm-hmm.
And great line. You were just talking with me, asking me about next year. One of the greatest lines of all time. Gino DeMarco says, if you ever hear a coach say, I want to spend more time with my family, I'm not coming back. He said, what they're really trying to say is, I have no talent coming back. Oh, man, I could write a book with these coaches. And this young man, I've been around them all at every level. They don't come much better. You're really lucky to have him at that field house. All right, you're Pratt Pack heading to Midland now. More to do tonight. Have a great rest of your day. And Frank Digger Dawson, no doubt, blue and white forever.